Hi there, this is Erica DELSIGNORE. I'm the founder of Daily Lead Campaign, where we help our clients get leads and revenue and new customers through social media and video marketing. And you are watching my Great Minds, Great Marketing interview series, where I bring some of the great minds in marketing to you, and we ask them questions about what they are doing to get results with their marketing. And today I am incredibly excited to bring to you one of the people that I feel is a mentor, and I look up to, and I try to mirror what he does as much as possible. Nick Loise, president of GKIC, that stands for Glacier Kennedy Insider Circle, and Nick has moved up the ranks in GKIC, but that's, he's the president now. When I met him, he was the sales manager, and that's only been a couple of years. But he's got a past that you wouldn't believe, and stories about entrepreneurship that'll make you cry and make you and make you wish you were him. And it's all about either winning or learning, right? So I'm so happy that you're going to share some of those stories with us today. He's got a huge sales background, managing teams for companies anywhere between $1 million and $1 billion in revenue. So we're going to learn a lot from Nick today. Thank you so much for joining us today, Nick. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, well, how do I not with a lead up like that? I mean, come on. Your name is bantered about in the GKIC offices more than you know, in a good way. Because you're a massive implementer. You just do stuff. You are constant, constant salesperson, constant marketer, constant entrepreneur. We were just talking about you the other day. All good. You're active in all of our groups. You're very active in the Peak Facebook group. You're active in the general Facebook group. At our events, I think you're the second one down. I think I'm the first one down in the morning, right after our meeting planner. But you're the second one down. You work the booth and you try to maximize your profit. So it's an honor. We're here to support entrepreneurs, and you, my friend, are one of the best out there, and you are a hustler, which is a good thing.
If I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't implement the stuff you taught me. So this is the love fest.
Thank you. Absolutely. We'll be on all day. And I'm missing cake. We celebrate birthdays here, but this was so important for me to do. I'm missing cake at the moment we do a monthly staff celebration, and we have a
Whose birthday is it?
Huh?
Whose birthday is today?
I don't know. There's 3 to 4 different people's birthday today, so there's.
All that matters is that there's cake that you're missing.
There's cake there, and I'm in here, and the sales guys will get in there and eat all the cake, and then then I'll be left with a crumb. So they'll hear about it.
Sales are good, right? That's fine.
Right.
Give them cake. Well, okay. I like to start the interview with talking about what you do for fun and a little bit about your personal life, because it gets to be business, and I like the audience to get to know who you are. And that you have a work-life balance, and you really have a beautiful family, and you spend a lot of time with them. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do for fun and about your family?
Sure. Well, thank you for that leadway. I am blessed. I have a great wife. We've been together for 27 years. We've been married for 22 of those. So we grew up together. She is substantially younger than I am too. So it is just fun to be with. So we spend as much time as we can, because we both have jobs that take us either traveling a lot. She's in Washington, D.C. as we speak. I just got off the phone with her, trying to get out before the blizzard that you guys are getting. She was gone for 7 days at one of her major events. So she's the CEO of an association, and the love of my life, and we've been together and grow up, and we like a lot of the same things. And then I have a college son, Dominic, who is his first year at the University of Columbia, Missouri. We're from Chicago, kind of a Chicago family. He's there for their business program and for their journalism program, which is a great school for that. And I have Francesca, who is my daughter, and she is a sophomore, and very active in dance, very active in everything. And so we spend a lot of time together. I'm Italian, with Nick Loise, if you can't figure that out. So I live very close to my parents, so we're engaged in each other a lot. I can't move too far away. So I think I'm a mile, right? So my wife got me a mile away from my mom.
Oh my God! I'm only laughing because, as you know, I'm married to an Italian, and I swear.
Right. We're in each other's lives more than anybody would want to admit. And so, I'm with my parents a lot. I'm with my in-laws a lot. I'm very blessed to have really good in-laws. And so family is important. Coming from an Italian background, Italian family. My wife is, we tease her, she's about as waspy as they come. So,
Right.
but she's been inducted into an Italian family. We read a lot. We like the arts, so we try to go to the arts as much in Chicago. We have a lot of great theaters. We're foodies, as you can tell.
Restaurants, yes.
Yeah, a lot of great restaurants. I've never met a meal I didn't like. So we're constantly doing that. Spending as much time. We rescued a beagle, right, about 8 years ago, 9 years ago, which ends up being, kind of my dog now. Right, I was the last one that wanted him, but so we try to get to the gym as much as we can. Spend as much time as we can. We travel a lot during the week for business, so the weekends are our time. We try to have time, and then on Sundays we try to just unwind, read a lot, and eat good food. So that's kind of what we do. Yeah.
Sounds like a good life.
It's not bad. It's not, I can't complain. Though I want to, I can't complain.
No,
I still have a lot of friends. I grew up in the town. I live in the town I grew up in, and it's one of those, we call it like Logan's Run. It's a North Shore suburb of Chicago, and a lot of people come back. So second generation, third generation people that grew up in this town, fourth generation. So a lot of people together in the summer. We're golfing at the country club, or playing tennis, or riding bikes, and we have a family home up in South Haven, Michigan, which is kind of on the shores of Lake Michigan. And
nice.
So we boat a lot, and we get up there as much as we can in the summer. Kids stuff, related. We have teenagers now, so they don't want to be up there as much, and we don't want them at home alone as much. So that kind of puts a damper on things. But it's fun to be up there. It's fun to grill. It's casual, but far too many boats. Far too many boats. So I got to keep working for a long time.
You have too many boats?
Right. Too many boats. That's my wife.
My God.
Right. So.
I had no idea. I asked somebody how much it cost, and they're like, I don't know, $2,000 to fill it. I don't know. It was some crazy.
Oh, it's gas. Yeah, it's horrible. We try to keep on inland lakes just because it's safer. But every man's got to have a passion, and boating is mine. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I used to sail. I know that's not the same thing as what you do, but I sailed for a few years in the Charles. So.
Yeah, especially on the East Coast, right? Because I worked at Copley Place for a long time, and I had lived in Watertown, and I lived with a bunch of people.
Right.
And one of the people, one of my roommates was she's still to this day a very active sailor. She was on the All American female team. And she used to sail in Nantucket. She used to sail up and down Boston. So she's now in Chicago, but she does the Mackinac Island race. But she's out on the East Coast sailing all the time. And it's Charles is a great rowing. Head of the Charles was a fun time.
Well, we have all the
South End.
Yeah. Rowing teams everywhere. Yeah, it's just the river is beautiful. It's just full of boats, and you get duck boats in there, and it's awesome. And our duck boats happen to carry the new champions in New England, so.
Oh yeah! Hey, congratulations! What a game! What a game! That was awesome.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
That was awesome. There's a lot of bookies that are probably sad right now, but a lot of happy people. That was awesome.
You're going to use that for a sales story for the rest
of the Yeah, absolutely.
That was unbelievable, but I never gave up on them. I knew once they got that 3 points that they were just going to keep going. It just takes a little bit, right?
Right. I was impressed, very impressed. You never let Brady out of your sights, and never think that Belichick doesn't have something in his sleeve. So that was awesome.
Yeah, a little fun fact is that Brady and I had the same eyebrow lady for quite a while. He's
Good to know. I'm sure he's glad about that. Good to know. Right?
I used to get my hair done at the same place. He's got the same hairdresser that he's had for the same amount of time I've had that same hairdresser. Okay. Not the same person, but they were in the same salon for a while. Yeah. And he brings the guy down to the Super Bowls for a pre-Super Bowl haircut. It's like a superstitious thing. And when he wins the Super Bowls, he also gets the hairdresser a Super Bowl ring.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a little bit of
I had it there. I take care of it too. So yeah, absolutely.
I saw him there once. Our elbows almost touched. It was very exciting.
Is Giselle there, or no? Is she someplace else?
I think she's dead now, but I don't know.
His wife, Giselle.
Oh, his wife? Oh no, I'm sure she goes somewhere else. I don't.
Yeah, something a little.
I imagine she's been going to probably somebody way before she knew him.
Sure,
We're
sure.
just all loyal to our hair people. So.
In a past life, and I'll talk a little bit about that. I owned a medical management company,
Oh,
and we did a lot of studies, and we did a lot of actually we're contracted by a lot of healthcare places to do a lot of studies, and your hairdresser when you move is the last service person that you will leave. You'd
yeah.
leave your doctor before your hair care person. So it is amazing how far after somebody moves far away from a hairdresser do they continue to go back to that hairdresser. So you're absolutely right. We are very loyal to our
It is
hairstylists.
so true. And I have had a tough time getting into her. I was sick. Everyone was sick last Thursday. I was supposed to go today, and there's a big snowstorm. And like I am like so far out from needing to have my hair done that I'm like my husband keeps going, just go to someone else. And I'm like, no, you don't understand.
Right, right,
We've had
right,
a relationship for 10 years longer than you and I have had a relationship.
right, right.
There's
It's
no
like good
way.
therapy too. Good therapy.
So I'm going tomorrow. Hopefully
Good,
nothing gets more. All right,
good.
we'll get going on. How did you get started, and you know what got you interested in sales, and how did you get started and get to where you are today? Because you've really had a lot of growth in your time
Yeah.
alive, and fast growth too. So I'd love to hear about. And you've told me an awesome story about that once. I don't know if you remember which one it was, but
I
hopefully you
don't
can
know.
go
So, I was very fortunate to grow up in a household that was surrounded by entrepreneurs, and maybe that's because we were second or third or fourth generation immigrants. And entrepreneurship was a way to get up the social ladder, and sales was a way to get up the social ladder. And we moved. My family on my mother's side owned real estate, and that was one of the things that was one of their income producers. And we lived in one of the apartments and assisted in, and my parents were very active in that. But the neighborhoods were starting to turn, and in Chicago, some neighborhoods are better than others, and the one that we were in was definitely turning for the worse. And there's a joke about, it's true, we had a small television on the kitchen counter, and it was the summer, and my dad was doing something in a different room, and the television got stolen. Two hands came in a window and stole the television while my brother and I were watching it. And I came to tell my dad that. And it seems like the next day we were in a suburb of Park Ridge, so we moved very quickly after that. But I was
yeah.
surrounded by a lot of folks that were businessmen, small businessmen. Back then, that was one of the first waves to help build growth. And a lot of them, I kind of did analysis when I was in high school and in college, and I always knew I wanted to be in business. And my family owned, my dad's side, we owned produce company, and that's the toughest business to be in. And you got to be a good salesman because your inventory is rotting as you pull away from the dock. So they had to be really, really good at moving product. And so I learned that I really wanted to be in sales. I really wanted to own my own businesses. I loved business. So that was like a non-negotiable for me. And I'm sure, being Italian, my mom wanted one of us to be a priest. So that was my brother's job. He didn't take that, but I knew I wanted to be a businessman. And when I studied those that had thriving businesses,
Mhm.
they always had a very strong marketing. Back then, it was really more sales bent. And they were master salespeople. When I would go and talk to them in their office, I was always looking for mentors, like you said. I take that very seriously, that you consider me a mentor. But I always would go visit them, and I always spent time with businessmen. And it was certainly driving costs out of the business, but always they talked about understanding the customer, selling to the customer, having other products and services to service the customer. Because once you get the customer, then you can figure out different things. And growing up in the neighborhood that I grew up with, I was blessed to be surrounded by a lot of entrepreneurs and businessmen, and the ones that were the extremely wealthy ones. And that, let's be honest, that makes an impression. And as a young budding entrepreneur, you want to follow the ones that really make a lot of money. They all had a very strong sales bent and marketing bent. And so I knew in business school I was going to do that. One of the business lines that we thought we would get in as a family was the hotel business.
Right.
And so I got into that business. I wanted to study that a lot more, and it was really just a sales and marketing engine. And so, I worked for a couple really niched management companies and learned the sales and marketing aspect of it and realized that's what I wanted to do. I also was in the financial services. That was my first job out of college because I really wanted to sell. So my first job was a management trainee program, right, which everybody wants to get. And I got that, and I told them that after I finished, I got into it I'm going into sales. And a kid, you're too young, the guys that are in this management training program that are in sales or on the desk or on the floor, they're older. So you got to do 2 years of grunt work. I said, no, I'm going to sell. So I went and learned how to sell, and I started out in the pits in the financial service business, the pits being the cubes, and
Yeah, that's just smiling and laughing all day.
Right? I didn't know any better, right? Just like you, I just dialed the phone and I learned the scripts and really honed the scripts. And this office had a lot of really really top producers, really high end guys, and they took a shining to me. They took a liking to me. I would always try to get time with them, FaceTime with them. I'd take them out to lunch, take them out to dinner, breakfast, whatever they would allow me to do. And we just kind of grew the book of business. And I was joking with the sales team the other day. I mean, we did everything for lead generation. We did stuff that we didn't even know that we weren't supposed to do. We would do for lead generation. But we realized, it's all about lead flow. It's all about follow up. It was, that business taught me a lot, and those skills kind of carry with me today. In fact, on my desk, I don't know if your audience could see this. This is one card. This is how I grew up on. This is the one card system where you would put your leads on these cards.
Oh, yeah.
This would be how you would move them through, and you'd have a color for prospects, color for leads, a color for clients, and you would just manage it. Then CRM.
That was the old days.
Old. I mean, I'm dating myself with that, but I keep that around to show the young guys here when they complain. Like, you got an Infusionsoft, you got a lead generation machine that you work for. You have nothing to complain about. So built a couple books of business in that business. It was very good to me. Wanted to parlay some of that success, some of that investment into real estate, so we got into that. And then I started, went to graduate school. For some reason, I know some families' education is important, some families it's not. Our family, it was very, very important. And so I have a BS and I got an MBA. And then I went on and started a couple other companies, and I worked for some major corporations too. One was they acquired my company, and then I went to work for them as a VP, which was fun, and I learned a lot. And then I started another company, and then GKC recruited me out of that company to come here. And so I was a member, much like you are. I was at Super Conference. I would go to Super Conference more than Info Summits. But I was very active, and I did everything. I read everything. I tried everything. I tried to implement everything. You name it. I've made more mistakes than anybody, but they're learning, right? In our business, it's testing.
Yeah, I love mistakes.
So I tested a lot, but I kind of always fall back on I'm a sales guy, right? I grew up carrying a bag. I think I'm a good marketer because of that. I always could be better. I always could be better at my craft. But I take honor in that. And I think I try to write about that a lot in my article at GKC, the honor of sales and the importance of sales, and how, I don't know why, but it's gotten to be a bad word among business people, and maybe, I don't know why, or maybe it just seems that way. But, if you don't move product, nothing happens, right? And you got to sell what you got, and you got to service the client, and if you believe in what you have, client only gets the benefit of when they buy it. So I believe in our products. I believe in every product I've ever sold. I like to joke that I'm not that good of a salesman, so I cannot not believe in my product. But I know for our basics, magnetic marketing can help every business person. And our coaching groups, I look at stars like you and how much they help you, and how much they drive our people to the next level, how much they change people's lives. Because I get the benefit of seeing all the testimonials and reading all the letters.
Right. Well, hey, with that magnetic marketing, that's like one of your oldest products. Yeah. How many of those would you say that you've sold? I mean, I just have to say, before you even say that, most of the time when I'm listening to the interviews that you guys have on your diamond calls and the other different calls that you have for us where you're interviewing experts, a lot of them either started off with getting one of the books, or getting magnetic marketing at one of the, at one of the big seminars. Um, how many have you sold of those?
Um, on average, I'll just do math real quick, so that's why I'm looking down. We sell probably about 3,000 a year.
3,000 a year for how many years?
Well, for the company's been the product is the company's been around for 25 years. The product I think is 30 years old, and they probably sold more of it because we have much more SKUs now. And
Right.
that's not even including the amount that are sold on the eBays of the world and the black markets of the world
Right.
and the digital download sites that just blow me away when I see those of how many pirate sites are on there. So, we move a lot of magnetic marketing, as we say here.
Yeah, that's incredible. And it's incredible that you're still selling 3,000 a year when you have over 100 products.
Right.
And
Yeah, we have
you're
yeah,
coming
so
up
we
with
have
more.
actually 94 SKUs.
I
And
was
so
close.
you're very close.
I was
94.
guessing.
Yeah. So
Awesome. Well, one of the things we're going to talk about is just, it's really cool to hear how you got your start. You've had a lot of challenges. You've said you've had some challenges.
sure.
I remember one story specifically where you were telling me about driving a taxi, but you were telling me that story because last year I drove for Uber for 2 months
Sure.
when I
Sure.
had a little blip in my business. I'd love to hear, like, what are some of the things, the mistakes that maybe, maybe it wasn't a win later, maybe it was just a lesson that you learned from, but it would be great to hear about some of those stories because we can all learn from that.
Sure. I, I have to correct you. I don't think I ever drove a taxi, but that might have been somebody else. But I've had my share. And I think I had a business that we had three different businesses under one company, and one of the businesses was by far too heavily tiered towards the home improvement market. And fast forward 2000, so it was great in 2006, 2007, 2008.
Right.
We were printing money in this business. I mean, it was like, I'm like, oh my gosh, honey, this is the mother. We got lucky on this one.
Yes.
It was a $50,000 investment to buy this business that we parlayed it. We ended up to 3 million in sales, and it was humming. And it was a great life. It was a great lifestyle business. It was a great business, and it was allowed me to build two other businesses at the same time. So, but it was the cash cow of the
Oh, wait,
business.
hold on. Can you
Right.
just define a lifestyle business just for people that haven't heard that term
Sure.
before?
So, my definition of a lifestyle business was still a business that we were in and running each and every day, but it allowed me to. So I had an office. I always had an office. I always had a staff, but it allowed me to run it from anywhere that I wanted to, and it
Right.
provided our family with a really, really, really good lifestyle. So it was the lifestyle that we wanted. And once I'm a big systems and process guy, especially on the marketing side of things. And I figure out what works, and we just implemented these processes and systems. And so when the systems were in place and rolling, it was like gangbusters, right? So lead flow was coming in every day. Appointments were being set by, I had an outside third party. I had actually three different telemarketing firms setting appointments. Appointments were easy to get.
Right.
Sale closing ratios were very high. The metrics of the business was very well. So for us, it provided us with a great lifestyle. It allowed me to do so because I kind of came from the corporate world and it was a kind of a big corporate job. I was on the road a lot, like we talked about,
Right.
and my kids were young, right? So this allowed me to coach both of them in soccer. It allowed me to pick them up from school when need be. It just allowed a lot of stuff. Friday
Yeah,
was
I mean, it's
off.
not just the money, right? It's
Right.
being able to
Oh
spend
no, I
time.
think it is
Yeah.
right. At a certain point, once your needs are met, and money's great, and it's a way to keep scoring. I think I'm probably more driven and motivated by money than most, but I think it's also just feeling like you're engaged in your life and your family, and you could not be in the office and realize that their office was running. So to me, that's how I consider a lifestyle business. It wasn't I was sitting, on a laptop, just pushing send. I still needed to be in front of clients. We still needed to service clients. We had I think at our highest point, we had 8 staff people, 5 of them in sales, so I had a sales team that I ran every day. We do a morning stand up, always, what works we did. So it was a good business for us. And then
I love that you've always known that sales is the way to
yeah,
increase. I just interviewed Mike Lawrence, and he had a really cool statistic about if you don't have at least 2 salespeople, you'll never break the $1 million in revenue mark. And there's less than 1% of companies do that.
right.
1 million in revenue. So it's amazing how special that really is to get to that level, and that you already knew. Most people make that mistake. They hire clerical people, and they don't hire a salesperson, unless they are the best salesperson, I guess. But it's hard to hand that off, and you were able to do that and manage the team, and that is a real skill. Like I hate managing salespeople.
Oh, I don't. I actually, it's funny. Most people do. I like it, but I'll be honest, Erica. There was a point in my life where I was a really bad sales manager. Probably my first sales manager role. So this is going back into the early to mid '90s, where I was a general sales manager, and I was good because I was a producer, right? So I had the respect of the sales team, but I was difficult with bringing on onboarding new salespeople, and I used the analysis of Jack Nicklaus. So somebody would go up to Jack Nicklaus and say, Jack, how do you hit a 1-iron? He goes, you just swing and you hit it, right? Because he had the mechanics. Right. And he knew, and I had the mechanics of being a very good salesperson just through study, just through repetition, just through practice, just through cause and effect, and doing right, learning. And I was a firm believer, and I watch it here with our sales guys, that production, right? So I might not have been the smoothest, but I was a producer. With dials. No one was going to beat me on dials. No one was going to beat me on face-to-face meetings and follow-up. But and so I had to force myself.
Right? Competition. Like I never wanted to be. I always want to be at the top too. And I've been door knocking all weekend long when I worked for the phone company and cable company. Then that's what I would do. And that was like for an extra $100 American Express gift certificate, like on a sales contest. I didn't care about that. I just wanted to be number one. So I mean, I think that really is a big piece of what you're talking about. Finding those people that are willing to grind until they get it. That's awesome that you have the team and you've done it yourself.
Yeah, so but I had to force myself to learn, right? So instead of studying marketing and sales, I had to focus on studying managing of people, especially managing of salespeople, dealing with different levels, because salespeople go through emotional ups and downs, and that, and the peaks and valleys, and the call reluctance. I didn't understand call reluctance. I would just get mad. Well, I'm like, what is this? Just getting mad at these people. So I had to kind of really buckle down and understand the psychology, not only the psychology of buyers, but the psychology of salespeople and how to motivate them. And then I learned from many, how to hire what's the right thing. And so I built an avatar. Like we teach to build an avatar of who your current customer is. I built an avatar. Still to this day, you kind of use the same avatar, and I've modified the avatar. But who's a good salesperson, right? And so we built this avatar for the salesperson to me, they have to be highly competitive. So you talked about that. So I look for a competition in them. I look for an inner drive in them. I look for what I call business acumen or savvy. Doesn't mean that they have to have business success, but they have to understand business. They have to understand deal flow, what happens, how to kind of move the deal forward. I like a kid or a young person old versus a more established salesperson, because they're going to have a lot of bad habits that you're going to have to break unless you really get a star. For us, we look for somebody that comes from a family business, right? Even if they didn't have a business, maybe they had a family business, because they understand the ebbs and flow of entrepreneurships, and they can build empathy with people, and they can understand that. They have to have a marketing bent. We want people that kind of have a marketing background. Right. And nowadays, the new additions to the avatar really they have to be CRM savvy, right? Because the importance of building the database and the notes and the capturing of everything in the database because that's really the biggest asset of any business is the database and how good it's segmented and how good the notes are. And so that's one of the new things that I'm looking at when we build an avatar for interviewing people and how well they are. We have one young man, we got a couple, we have different tiers in our sales team here because we have a floor, and so we have a lot of openers and that type of thing. But he'll blow everybody away on his production. Everybody away on his production. Just amazing. I'm floored by him. Hopefully he doesn't hear this interview and hear that I'm so impressed. But the other day I was walking out at 6:30. He was still on the phone because he didn't get to his number of sales per day. So he was intrinsically motivated to hit a certain number each and every day. So those are the things that we do. We use Jay Henderson, one of our members, and if anybody of your people want to attend Super Conference or be at Super Conference, Jay is going to do a speech. We do Jay Henderson's risk profiling for salespeople. So we do a lot of profiling. I'm a firm believer of that, disc profiling, and the more and more people that are great in sales or great at hiring salespeople use that. So there was a point here where we didn't do that because we had a president that wanted to save a couple $100, and I'm like, there's salespeople are professional interviewers, so you really want to you want to do psychological.
Sales recruiting company,
right? I'll pay for it out of my pocket if you're not going to pay for it because that's how important it is. So we do a lot of that. We really want to know, we want to know their profile. We want to know, are they bent for success? Are they bent for competition? Are they empathetic, right? So we just don't want, we're not bam and slam. We want them to really care about the people. And to me, I'm blessed with having a really good sales manager because he's really empathetic. He's a great production guy. He really cares about and when you hear from members, we have members and customers, they all enjoy their interaction with them. They all have a firm, he has their best interest in heart. And you want a sales team to have the best interest in heart because that's important too. Because
yeah, they can tell. The whole base can tell. That's true.
Yeah. So I don't know if we answered that. So some of the going back to your original question, we got off on sales training and all that, which is probably where we're both from. So we like to talk about that.
Love it.
So because I was so heavy on the cash cow of the 3 different businesses, that was in the home improvement or really the home market. When the 2010 hit Chicago, because it was really regional based, it wasn't nationally based, it got bad. And clients that were long-time clients forever, like you never had to worry about their checks, started to go out, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Cash flow became kind of, so I've now learned you manage, it was the business was going well, so it was easy to take your eye off the ball. You have to watch cash flow each and every day. It's like business 101, but sometimes it's easy to forget about that. I had a couple big clients go BK on me, so that was like couple $100,000, right off. You feel that. Doesn't matter how flush with cash you are. Lines of credit got dried up. Banks were knocking on my door. You hear these stories. They were knocking on your door, and then lines of credit went, or we had a $100,000 line. And all of a sudden, it went to 75, and they just slowly walked it back. It wasn't really a high collateralized business, so it was difficult then. And so I had to kind of double down. And I had done some expansion, right? So I kind of had some other businesses that I overextended from a credit standpoint, from an expansion standpoint. And so, and back then you didn't know when the bottom was going to hit. And I don't think anybody knew when the bottom was going to hit. And,
no, I lost the business in 2009.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, the recruiting business.
Yeah, and so, because nobody was hiring it.
For 6 years, too. It was going great.
Yeah, and so it's just.
And it's a problem.
And so the psychological aspect of that is painful, and so I'll never go through that again. And I also had the psychological aspect of one partner, especially during that time, unbeknownst to us, we found them later, it embezzled $70,000, right? That's a lot of money to have in the coffers. And so, you had a lot of dynamics going on with all of that. And, then there's, then it just gets ugly. And, the emotional wear and tear of legal battles, even though you kind of hire good lawyers to take care of that, you still are emotionally invested. And so and so I just got back to doing what I knew how to do. And I was back on the street, and, we still had systems and processes in place, but what we realized is obviously lead flow went from here to here because nobody was buying, or everybody was fearful of buying, and customers were drying up and going out of business, and because they were so heavy into the home improvement and the home market, and nobody was investing anymore in their homes, and people didn't know which end was up. It was tough. It was but we made it through, and kind of was stronger business people because of that. But
definitely. I have to say, of all the interviews I've done, and I've only probably done about 15 so far, you're the third person that's been embezzled, and it happens way more often than nobody likes to admit it, but it happens way more often than people talk about.
So I think our job is, especially for your audience and you, our job is to partake as much knowledge as we have, right, and share with them and learn from my mistake.
Yeah.
And the mistake number one is I saw it happening kind of, and I let another partner be in, kind of try to negotiate it and be passive about it, and swift sword. It's happening. Don't buy the bullshit. Figure it out, and keep control of the checkbook. It's like the number one thing. Keep control of the cash. Rule number one, right? That never delegate the marketing or the checkbook. So that was the number one thing. And the other thing that I mean, that is good for expansion, but don't be silly with expansion and using debt to expand. And so, it just was one of those things that we kind of had to fight our way out of it, and we did it. We were better off for it, and we learned from it. But it still stings, right? Every now and then, you wish you wish you had that. But a lot of people were far worse off, and a lot of entrepreneurs were far worse off. So I learned, and hopefully people that hear this will learn. So control cash, control the checkbook, watch an embezzler. AJ, our CEO, and I've talked about it. He got embezzled for $250,000. I think he's open about it. And it was an employee that he never thought would do it. And they're just crafty. They're just
it's something that I've interviewed that it happened to. So it's unbelievable. I do have. We're running against the clock, but there are three things I wanted to ask you. The first one is, what's the combination of marketing tactics that you guys use that you've really seen the most results from? And then I'm going to ask you about your favorite course as well as what you're promoting. So
that's fine. Okay. So obviously, Facebook has been very good for us. Facebook leads are very good for us. To some extent, not all leads are created equal. We are a major content production company, and so we are blessed with a catalog of 25 years of content out there, either from YouTube videos, which YouTube is a very good source. We're trying to do more about that. As well as the books. The books, our members come from books. That's the best source. We want to get as many of those books out for people. But right now, the best source of lead generation is social media, i.e., Facebook and YouTube. We are looking at LinkedIn. We're doing some work with you, I know, on LinkedIn, which we're excited about.
Work with me on YouTube because we're doing a lot with them.
And we're trying different things. We're always talking to different people about looking at the logarithm for Facebook. SEO PPC isn't that strong for us, but to other people it's very good. And so right now we're going to do we've done some direct mail tests, and direct mail cold, especially for what we do, is difficult, and it's not as successful. Product launch for us from a lead generation standpoint, it's by far the biggest source of leads for us. It puts a lot of wear and tear, and maybe some of your folks aren't information marketers, so a product launch is difficult for them. But we like all of that. But we want to have 20 different things going on, not just one or two. So we've contracted with an outside, what I'll call media person, and she is just scouring alternative sources for us to promote digitally, and, very niched markets, so then we can hyper niche our message to that market to try to sell magnetic marketing and to try to sell other products and services. So, that's what we're looking at. It's not one, it's all, but if you go on and look at us, retargeting is very good for warm people. We do a lot of work with that, and so we want to kind of continue with that. So.
Yeah, so you're basically saying almost everything.
I think you have to. You have to do almost everything. And
that's what you teach, right? A lot of your clients and your star students will say, I've heard them say in interviews, "Oh, I have 75 campaigns running at all times."
Right.
It's amazing.
It's amazing too. Like when things go amiss, it's just because the process broke along the way, or the system broke, or somebody turned something off they didn't realize. Like, well, it goes back to one of the things we talked about magnetic marketing in the beginning, and I kind of noticed that we weren't shipping out as many magnetic marketings, as we had in the past, and something was amiss because that was it's an evergreen campaign, an evergreen campaign that's going on, and so kind of reverse engineered it, and we realized something got turned off, and the printer who's automatically sending, they're sent a fulfillment list, the fulfillment list just stopped going to them. And so new leads weren't getting one of the multi-steps of getting to magnetic marketing. So you got to do it all. But there's no magic bullet anymore, right? And we're marketers, so we ruin everything for everybody, right? And we all rush to one thing, and we all rush to do it. And I think the most important thing is know your numbers, manage the business, know the most you can spend for a lead, and keep on testing alternative sources.
Well, there's one thing I'd like to clarify too. I mean, direct mail may not have been one of your top pieces, but you guys, when you get leads from anywhere, you send out shock and awe boxes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So
that's different than just cold direct mail.
Right. So we've tried cold direct mail for acquisition, and it just was not successful. However, we will use direct mail for a lot of things. So to kind of push people through the system, we'll use direct mail. We send out shock and awe boxes. We have multi-step campaigns. We have lumpy mail. You name it, we're constantly sending out direct mail. Probably not as much as we should. We should always send out more. And right now, actually, we're doing an interesting test, and I'll let you know how it goes. We're trying EDDM, so every door direct mail.
Yeah, I want to hear how that goes. I want to try that.
Yeah, so we're trying to find very high level business concentration zip codes or mailing route, and we're trying to use EDDM. So we've got the massive postcard, the largest postcard that they'll allow, so allows us to have a lot of room for copy, and we're trying to EDDM. So we'll find out. I mean, it hasn't gone out yet, but once it does, we'll let you know.
Okay, I can't wait to hear about that. I mean, I was really thrilled. I get a lot of direct mail from you, which is why I mentioned. But I'm a client, so I've gotten the postcard about your upcoming event, the Super Conference in April, and I was on the postcard, so I was like, oh, look at me. And I just got your invitation to a special luncheon for the higher level clients that you have. So I get, I'm one of them, and I get to go. So it's just, you send out beautiful, you send books to your clients. Right. You guys have really, in the last couple of months, I've noticed, have launched this customer appreciation campaign like no other. And that's why I just wanted to mention that, although you don't do a lot of cold direct mail, the stuff that you do for your current clients, either to keep them buying or to keep them with, just happy with you, is amazing. So I think you do that better than anybody.
So as we say, right now, if I look at my inbox, and I did look real quick, there's, now I'm on a lot of lists, right, just to see what competition is doing.
Right.
But there's 2,356 unread emails, right? That's a lot.
Wait, 2,000?
2,356 unread emails. Since today, I've had up to this time, 1 o'clock is when we started. I had 149 new emails, right? And those aren't going to my other, boxes where I jump on lists so they don't know who I am and just to see that. 149 emails come in one day. So, everybody wants to do email because they think it's for free or they think it's easy, but it is unbelievable how fast we get inundated with emails. And so we try to do a lot of things, i.e. direct mail. We're trying to do some things with SMS texting. So we had that as part of a campaign, not cold, obviously, but just as part of a campaign. And Ali Bilson, who does a lot of work with us and is one of the smartest marketers that we work with, he will be talking about that at Super Conference. So there's a lot, there's a lot to test out there, and it's a fun world. And from a marketing perspective, it's a fun world, which I'm going to segue, which, we want everybody at the Super Conference. So we'll make a special offer for your members. We're talking about, I think it's called Geo Wi-Fi. And so it's how Facebook knows where you're at as soon as you walk into a store, and you can start pushing notifications via Facebook to that person. And so there's fascinating things going on, especially for traditional businesses, that can be used. And the key is to use as many tools as possible, right? Just like we talked about with 2008, 2009, and once 2010 hit, if I didn't have all those systems going and processes going, though the number went down, I would have been in a bigger world of hurt. So have as many marketing lines in the water that you're going to get more fish.
Oh, yeah, I definitely learned my lesson.
Yeah. And now you want to know my favorite
in business, too. Yeah, and in business, have a lot of different products and services, not just one. And that's how you protect yourself.
Right.
Always trying to, don't just take status quo for granted. It just, keep changing it up and finding the best thing. So I think that's fantastic. Now, what do you want to promote? I don't want to keep you longer than.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Well, so the first thing we want to do is you asked me a question. I want to answer that too. Is so we have 94 SKUs, right? So you want to know my favorite product.
Your favorite product, yes.
So I have two, and one is for everyone, and that's magnetic marketing. I really do. I'm a firm believer that belongs on every small business person's bookshelf. I went back and looked the other day, and we actually just needed it. Our archives are not good at GTAC, but my personal archives are very good, right? Because I've been a member. I bought magnetic marketing in 1994. I know the time, the date, the place that I bought it from, Dan Kennedy, at a Success Super Conference. So we actually needed the original one for some of the scripting on that. So I had to get it out of my home library. I'm a firm believer of that. So everybody should have that. The next product that I have grown to like a lot, it's a little bit more heady, but it's intriguing, and it's called influential writing. And it doesn't just need to be for the copywriter, but it's about how to bond with your prospects and your clients. And Dan talks about it from a copywriting standpoint. So it's called influential writing. It's a phenomenal product. And then my third favorite, because we all struggle with different things, but the one thing a lot of people do is coming up with new ideas and new approaches for it, is creative thinking for entrepreneurs. And it's kind of off the shelves. We don't sell a lot of it. It's kind of unknown, but it's really a product that whenever I'm facing a business problem that I need out-of-the-box thinking on, I use techniques from that. So those are three. So I gave you two bonuses, as we like to do.
That's good. And I'm going to throw in, because these are your products, I really love the referral machine product. Yeah. You suggested it to me a couple of years ago when I wanted to buy a couple of things. I love that. Yes. I listened to that a
I'm
million
writing an
times.
article about it, and I pulled it for the article. It's funny.
Really?
Every time I go through that product, it's not a very expensive product, but every
No,
time I
it's
go
not.
through that, it's a phenomenal product. And I'm glad you brought that up. It's funny that wasn't planned, people. I just had it there. And there's another there's another
It's
product
a
that
magic trick here.
yeah I'm writing an article about the
I
power
don't
of
even edit these, so.
it's all good. All right, so what we
Well,
want
the
to
other one I wanted to tell you that I listened to a million times. I really enjoy the recordings of your high-level mastermind meetings. And this is not a joke. Before I knew anything about you guys, my husband started going to um, Ben
Ben
Glass's.
Glass, wonderful man. Yeah,
One
yeah,
event, and
yeah.
he's like comes back. He wrote 3 books in the middle of the night. He asked me, I needed to write a book. I had no idea why, but I'm writing this book, and I have that book still.
Sure.
And it was all because. And then when he was at the meeting, he bought your Titanium Mastermind, the one where Robin Robbins and Bill Goff and Richard James, all people that I know personally now,
Sure.
they were all in that group. And I listened to that thing, and I still listen to it. Must have been 20 times. But when I first got it, it was like, wait, you paid $1,000 for five CDs? What? Are you insane? And then, like, lo and behold, I mean, look, this interview series is an idea that came off of that I heard 2 years ago, but I'm now implementing because you can't implement everything at once.
Sure.
But
Sure.
one of the women on there runs the baseball team
Oh,
and baseball training
yes,
camps.
she and her wife, Barbara Wolfson, the Wolfsons.
Yes, the Wolf.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Delightful people, the
yeah.
nicest people. Yeah.
It's like those are the strongest words in sales. Are may I interview you? And
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I've only been doing this about a month, and I just went on the marketers cruise, and it just opened doors for me like you wouldn't believe. I'm not selling anything. I'm just interviewing you, and I'm
Right.
getting it out. And I'm actually getting leads from these interviews, but I'm also getting people to say, hey, well, what do you do? So it's phenomenal. And that's just one of the many ideas from there that I got. And those people were just so generous with talking about what works on that particular program. So, you wouldn't believe it, but I was like, man, like I still listen to that thing. I love it.
It's great.
So, yeah.
Well,
So why don't we talk about what's coming up? What are the events that we need to go to? I'll be at all of them.
sure. Well, that's great. The the best one, especially for your audience, probably is the Super Conference, which is coming up this April 6th through the 9th, and it's in Orlando. So it's in beautiful Orlando, Florida. If they want to learn more about that, just go gkic.com/SC or call 1-800-871-0147. And it is really a mind orgy, for the better term, of marketing greats, and it is just a lot of fun. It's a phenomenal event. Everybody there is entrepreneurs, small business people focused on growing their business, and we try to bring the best exhibitors and sponsors, much like Erica and her services there, and we have a great lineup. It's a phenomenal lineup. We have a key note speaker every day, right? And it's anywhere from mindset with Coach Spurrier to the Revenge of the Analog with David Sachs, and talking about direct mail, like we talked about, talking about how album sales are up versus digital downloads. We think the world is all digital, but it's not, and so it's just this paradigm shift. And then we work everybody late, right? So they, the round tables, which everybody loves doing, they'll go to 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. Then we'll make them come up early in the morning, and it's just marketer after marketer after marketer, or how to hire the right people, right? So a lot of people, it's a lot of mindset for the marketer, things that are working, tips, techniques, tools that are working, but it's also growing, right? So we're talking a lot of people are saying, hey, I need to hire staff. I need to grow past just me.
Right.
Me and my husband or wife in the business. How do I bring on the right people? So we're bringing some great people to talk about how to hire with the right people, how to focus on hiring the right people. millenniums are coming into the marketplace. We have a person that specializes in not only working with and hiring millenniums, but marketing to millenniums because they have dollars to spend, especially for a traditional brick and mortar business, or if you're a realtor, they're going to be the next wave of people buying homes. We have one of our longtime members that focuses on marketing to the affluent, one of our core tenants. So it's going to be a great event. Just go on gkic.com/super conference. You can learn everything about it /SC. Or call us at 1-800-871-0147. Tell them that you listen to Erica, you're part of her video series, and we'll give you a special offer. If anybody on this series wants the No BS direct mail book, which is the #1 book that everybody should read, send me an email at nick@gkic.com. Once again, nick@gkic.com. We'll send this out to you, so that's a special offer just for your listeners, viewers, whatever we call them today. If you want to be a member, go onto our website, which is gkic.com. There's a bunch of different offers there, from Growth Hacks, which is a phenomenal program, to becoming a member. So
yes,
a little bit for everybody.
And I'll have all of those in the editing. We'll have all those URLs up. The first time I went to a super conference, this is a snow day, so I'm sorry. We have a little princess here.
Oh, absolutely. I've been watching you grow up via Facebook, so it's wonderful to see. How are you, dear?
Yes. So I was just going to say that I wrote 70 pages of notes the first time that I went to the super conference, and my husband is now here in the room. You want to wave to everyone?
How are you?
I got bombarded at the end of this, huh?
Oh, yeah, she snuck up.
Yeah, she sure. I know. I heard you blending. Thank you. So, we're getting buried with snow, so there was no getting her to daycare today.
Right, absolutely.
Hey, but
that way people know it's live. It's real, right?
It's real. That's what happens. But I was just gonna say, so the stuff that you walk away with, and I don't even think. I think I bought Lisa Sasovich's product at that one. But besides that, though, I mean, I walked away with so many ideas without even buying any of the product. I bought one product and a book, but there were 70 pages of notes, 3 days of speakers. Every hour and a half or so, there was a new speaker, and then you had breakout sessions where you could pick your topics one of the days. That was the most interesting to you. And I was just so bummed out that day because I'd never been to an event like that, and I wanted to see all of them. So then I buy the event recordings, which is what I do now. But yeah, just an amazing event. If you haven't gone, if you're brick and mortar or if you are an info marketer alike, it's an incredible experience, and you really do pack it with so much valuable content. So we appreciate the events that you put together. No event is the same, and there's always new cutting-edge things coming out. Which you've mentioned some of the things that are coming out. So definitely go if you have a business, if you want to grow it. I'll be there, and which is another reason to go.
Absolutely. We tried to put the event together, and I'm blessed by being surrounded by a lot of great employees and members and marketers. And so every year, I jealously, I try to put together the event that I want to attend. And I have and so I want to have the best and the brightest, much like how we've had you on our stage. I want to have the best and the brightest people talking about marketing, hiring, sales, you name it, systems and processes. We want to know all of that because I want small business people to have one stop to go to and learn as much as they possibly can. And we're for real business people, right? So there's other events out there, that everybody's killing it. They're making them, just send one email, they make $10 billion. I mean, those are great events and those are great people. And I'm being facetious and sarcastic. I know they're not sending one email and making $10 billion. But our event is for real entrepreneurs and real small business people that want to focus on growing their business, improving their asset, probably growing the #1 asset in their investment portfolio, which is their business. And this is what we're here for.
So sorry for all the noise.
It's all right. It's all good.
We're having a
will.
professional conversation here. Just
It's all good. It's all
the
good.
giggling and the screaming and the interruptions.
Hey,
The
the other night I was doing an interview with Dave D, and the cleaning lady walked in on us, and unbeknownst to me, because I faced the back, my door is right there, and so Dave starts cracking up because she's picking up garbage behind me. I didn't even know because I was talking. So it doesn't matter if you're in an office, which I am, in the outskirts of Chicago, or in your house. There's always disruptions. So
yeah, there totally is. So thank you so much for joining me. This is my favorite interview so far.
Oh, so far. You say that to everybody. I know that. So, all right.
Don't watch any of the other videos.
All right. Take care.
I'll see you later. Thank you.
Bye-bye.